All right. Welcome to the worst guide ever on Sage Healing. Okay, let's look at your selection tree here, starting at Preserved Force Armor. Let's talk about that real quick, what the first Preserved Force Armor does. First thing you do is, if you pop it on there, notice your tank. F1, notice here that Soothing Protection. Soothing Protection, if the bubble pops, it will heal your target for as much as on there. So your bubble is actually better than the other bubbles, kind of even better than some Sage bubbles. So if they want to put theirs on, fine, but you're going to be popping this on the tank as much as possible because it's a damage preventer. That's the other thing it does. 30,000 damage is completely prevented. So that's a really good reverse heal if you want to think about like a reverse heal. It'll keep things from taking damage in the first place. It doesn't count on star parse. You're not going to see any healing happen. Even if it did pop, and damage was prevented, it does not count on star parse. On orbs, it will count it if you check the right boxes and things. It will show it in Parsley. I don't think it shows it on Parsley.io. It might. All right, let's go back to your tree. That's your Preserve Force Armor. It's really good to use. It prevents damage and it heals at the end. Also, keep in mind that the more you heal a target, the more it drops. So notice there's a Preserve Force Armor on him, and he has 10 stacks, and the more I put a healing on him, the more it drops. So 10 stacks, so now it's 9 stacks. Now it drops significantly because each one of those is a bunch of ticks. Boom, boom, boom. So now it's dropping. Now it's a 5 stacks. That counts as nothing unless it rotates off. And then you can pop that bad boy on there. Again, there it removed it. AoE does not remove it. This one does, and your restoration does take one off. So that, just keep that in mind. That's how that Preserve Force Armor works. All right, Conveyance at level 23. This is your passive. You need to read that passive. That is amazing. Your passive is just spectacular for the for that Conveyance. Also, if you happen to have so I'm running 43% critical chance. So what happens is this increases the critical chance of healing trance by 25%. So that means this is probably going to crit more often than not. So as it crits, this is going to start glowing. At least once, if not twice, it will get 2 glows, which gives me, prevents me from getting weary and restores my force. So that is one thing you're going to have to keep thinking about is your force restoration, and Conveyance helps you with that through your healing trance. You can also read that Salvation is activated instantly with your Conveyance, and also it will make your Benevolence do better, and it will also basically any heal you have, it just makes it do better. It just do things. However, one thing you want to think about, the only time you're going to use your Wandering Mend forced like that is not during your rotation. You're going to want to use that only during combat. Only when you're not in combat. If you're not in combat, you could use your forced Wandering Mend, and it'll help it bounce. Otherwise, it's going to bounce. Somebody's going to take damage, and it's going to bounce. So especially if you pop that on your tank, and then also gives that 3% elemental damage reduction, which is amazing. You want to give that elemental damage reduction. Another thing about this specific class, while we're talking about damage reduction, you have 2 damage reductions. One of your damage reductions is from your force armor. You have 3. Your force armor is a damage prevention. Your Rejuvenate is a 10% armor increase, and your Wandering Mend is a 3% elemental damage reduction. You do not have a 3% healing increase chance. The tech healers apply that one. So again, you're a damage preventer. Even though you're a healer, you have a lot of damage reduction and damage prevention. So because of that, by nature, if you have the exact same gear as a tech healer and the exact same skill as a tech healer, your raw numbers will be lower than theirs. So don't even try to compare yourself to other tech healers in any way. You do not heal like they do. You're completely different you're just different. You're just completely different. You have damage reduction and armor blocking and that sort of thing. So don't even bother comparing yourself to them. You're a single target monster is what you are. Pocket healer, single target. Okay? Let me show you how to do that. after we're done with the tree. One of the things I do to advance that single target healing is I use Hastening Call. Now you can read these and you understand what they do, and make sure if you're going to pick these other ones, figure out what they're doing and use those as you're doing it. However, what I like to do is I'm going to spike heal every once in a while. So this is my spike heal. This is my rotation, but this is my spike heal. So I'm going to damage my little buddy there. Sacrifice. Boom. There you go. And now I'm going to heal him up. 1, 2, 3. So he is over 50% right now. Oops, that was a third heal, but um, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. He was a little over 50% from about 10% health. So it's a huge amount of health healing with this combination of abilities there at level 23. Moving on to number 39, that is your AoE. You're going to turn your Healing Trance into AoE. You got to have it. That's the one to pick. This one, if any other Sage healer is on your team, they may take this one. Then you don't have to take it. Let them take it or you can tell them, hey, I'm going to use it. You take something else, something like that. You don't want anybody dying anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This is the one to take. You guys discuss who's the other one going to be. A DPS should not be taking this one, and you politely ask the healer, the DPS, to stop using that if because you can use that as a massive heal on your entire raid operation to save somebody's life, and it is also for damage offense as well because of mastery, but it also gives that endurance, which is actually a heal. It counts as a heal, sort of. All right, mobile. You got to be mobile. No other options. You got to pick it. This one's situational. I choose the metaphysical alacrity because it just is slightly on the mobility side and increases my movement speed a little bit. More mobility. Why not have it? Here's how the phase walk works. Let's say you're gonna hide in the corner over here. Boom. You're in combat, whatever, you're doing your thing, It's more of a PvP thing, but you can use it in PvE for certain situations, and you're back over here. A nice little teleport, also for your Datacron collection, right? Okay, let's look at the final. We're gonna come back to telekinetic blitz, and also if you really want to, you can use force lift too. You can lift off something that's really being annoying. These are all situational, but you're not going to be using Weaken Mind that often because you're a DPS. Your job is no, you're not. Your job is not a DPS. Your job is healer, so you're not using Weaken Mind that often, and it's more of a PvP thing anyway. You want that damage reduction for dots that happen to go out, but situational. Okay, let's look at the rotation gear first. Let's get gear. All right, this is your tactical. This is the tactical you need to use. It will make your biggest heal. It will bounce 5 times instead of 4 times. And again, don't force it, but you can force it if you want to. That is 5 bounces. Boom, 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 boom. Bounces around. It's amazing. You will hear sometimes people say that pets will steal your healing. They does happen like once in 100. It will actually. I've seen it happen. The bounce will bounce around, and it just stops at a pet. It's so aggravating. So kind of annoying. So if they can get the pet put away, fine. That's great. If they won't, whatever. Nothing you can do about it. All right. Let's see. Let's go on to the stats. Okay, so I choose Revitalized package and Dynamic Force package. However, there's many options inside there's lots of things you can use. I also choose personally to use Mastery and Ephemeral Mending, but you can use Mastery and Power here. It's just fine. Mastery and Power is probably better in some instances, and Ephemeral Mending does 19k healing every once in a while, every 20 seconds. It's really just, you can't really control it, and it's free healing. So might as well have some free healing every once in a while. I feel like, no, I don't feel like, I know mathematically this is better, but it's not really that effective because you can't control who gets it. It works though. It does actually work. It's better than Mastery and Power. But if you already have Mastery and Power, use Mastery and Power. It's fine. And then for the Revitalize and Dynamic Force, I use it. Revitalize is pretty much a no-brainer. It's more free healing. It's free healing. So Rejuvenate, free healing, more free healing. And then Dynamic Force package, I use that one because of Force Potency. Its cooldown means I can use it more often. It is already it's pretty long, so I've got it down to 1 minute and 7 seconds now. So it's pretty short cooldown now from what it started with, and I just want to lean into that extra crit on my healing trance because I want that healing trance to crit and proc my Vindicate, and itself is just massive. Okay, so let's talk about the rotation. Finally, at long last, we're at the rotation. So let's look at Nico, and you'll see the numbers popping off of him. Force Potency to again make that healing trance be nice and massive and big. You see those 21k crits going on there. Restore some force. Wander Min. Now, if he takes damage, it's going to bounce. Restore that force. Put a bubble on him. It's going to take one of those ticks off. This does not count against a tick. This does count against a tick, but it's instant. It's big. I don't know why I did that. And then clear that. Beautiful. And then start over. That's not ready, and it won't be ready for a while. And as you can see, everything I'm doing is mobile. It's all mobile. Every bit of what I'm doing is mobile. One thing that will mess this rotation up is if somebody starts bubbling the tank that's not you. It's rather annoying. Because this is, I'm targeting my tank. Then at this point, I will target myself. Pop that bag boy on, and go back to my tank. Let's start over. Ooh, Vindicate, no time to waste. Start over, and next time Force Potency will be ready. Targeting my tank. Still targeting my tank. Target my tank. Remember, Rejuvenate will clean off all your old dots and apply new ones. Target myself. Target my tank. Or whoever needs it. You can focus on the... And now my Force Potency is ready. Make sure I'm targeting my tank. Spread that to an AoE. Tank. And you can do this literally forever. Oh, tank needs big healing. And then start over. Tank took a real big hit over there. Reapply that. There he goes. Full health again. So this rotation will last forever. And you'll have zero force, as you can see, zero force problems. There is one other option. So if you really want to, if you're just being bored, it's like you find yourself, this is just boring, this is just too easy, this is boring, give yourself a little bit of a challenge. There's another way to play. You can throw your, let's see, loadouts, my accuracy, there it goes. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean into my Gathering Storm and Stimulated package, which is super weird for a healer to be using, these two, but this is what I do when I'm just bored. And then I'll use my Metaphysical Mender. So my Force Speed makes my next direct attack do 20% more, so might as well. And then my Metaphysical Mender will allow my Blitz now to work. So then I'm bored, so I swap over to this setup and I use the Med Bender instead. And then I do Mastery and Power instead of the Ephemeral Mending. And what I'll do is I'll do my rotation. Here's my Nico. So Nico, get in a battle. Go fight. So I'm healing him. I'm healing him. And now I've gotten bored. So what I'm going to do, go ahead and put a dot on the tank. 1, 2, Force Speed. 1, 2. And then go back to my regular rotation. And as soon as that comes back around, there's nobody to hit, but as soon as that comes back around, go back into my Telekinetic Blitz again. I am missing one item of Vindicate down here. I'm not sure why my Vindicate is missing. But it's 1, 2, Force Speed, 1, 2, and that's how you get the most benefit out of your Telekinetic Blitz. You can heal at 50 meters, and you can also heal at not only at 50 meters, but for like 80k, 70k, it's some pretty big healing. So there's 40k, there's a 50k, there's a 75k, there's a 50k. So if you start to be able to crit or anything like that, I mean, you can really crit high if you set it up right. I don't set up right. I set up because I'm bored, just to have fun. Anyway, that is all I got for you on the worst guide ever for Sage healing.